All right, guys, welcome to the Countertop Fundamentals Reconditioning Restoring class with myself, Courtney Lee, and Robert Falzone.
How you doing?
All right, guys, so just to introduce myself, as some of you guys know, I am the owner of Truman Hardwood Floor Refinishing and Cleaning, and I also added the Countertop Restoration Services to my business. I took the class about a year ago with my instructor, Robert Falzone. Learned so much that I was able to take this same process, learn the skill, and offer this to my clients. Just within the last 6 months, I probably added over $40,000 of extra revenue just by doing stone, doing from marble, granite, and also quartz, is what we're going to be teaching you guys today. So I'm also going to introduce Robert Falzone and let him tell you guys a little bit about himself.
How you doing? So I'm Robert Falzone, robertfalzone.com. I'm an IICRC instructor. I teach stonemasonry and tile. I teach floor care technician. I'm be a carpet cleaning technician teacher as well soon. But right now we're going to be focusing on stone today and natural stone surfaces. This video is not meant to replace a class or hands-on whatever, but I will be teaching you enough through the video that you can go to a store yourself and buy some pieces and practice for yourself by watching the video. So some of you guys want to teach yourself, but there's also classes where you do ride-alongs with Courtney or 2 other trainings. But this class will be using IICRC principles. I'm not a guru where I'm going to tell you my personal stuff. The IICRC training is based upon groups of people that got together, committees of people that looked at all the stones and all the different ways of doing it, and they came up with a standardized way of doing things. So I'm going to be teaching you standards that come not from me, but from groups of people that they didn't like each other necessarily. They're sitting in a room across the table from each other, arguing about how to do things. So this is a good standard that you're going to be learning here. Now, again, we're learning first how to clean the stones, identifications of the stones, then how to maintain them, and then how to restore them. And so we're shooting for a video here that's not going to be too long, but it's going to give you exactly what you need to know so you can go fishing for yourself, okay? It's a good start. So we're going to start off with talking about cleaning, because if you can't clean it, you can't polish it. A lot of guys go in and they skip the cleaning part, go right to polishing. So here on this table, if you can see, I have, this is a steamer. It's not the most expensive steamer. It looks expensive. And that's key to when you walk into a person's house and you want to start like charging them big money. Okay, you pull out a device or something they don't own, and they go, "Wow, that's nice. What does that do?" It's a steamer. Oh, okay. And so it looks nice, but also does the job. We also have various chemicals. I have stuff here like stone scrub, and we have easy scrub. I got neutral cleaner here. And this is a corrosive cleaner, a caustic cleaner. So let me explain about basic chemistry. I'm assuming that you guys watching this video, you know something about cleaning already. Maybe you're a carpet cleaner, you do upholstery, you're already in the cleaning business. Corrosive cleaners are meant to dissolve minerals. Okay, you know what dirt is? Dirt is a mineral. Okay, you get somebody's carpet or upholstery, and there's a dirty carpet. What's the carpet dirty with? Minerals. So what's carpet cleaning chemical supposed to do? Dissolve minerals. This marble right here in front of me, what's it made out of? Minerals. So do you want to use a corrosive cleaner on the marble? Maybe. Probably not. But corrosive cleaners like this you generally don't use unless it's a disaster. And you have to, it's like our skin. Our skin is sensitive to acid, right? You ever use like a loofah sponge and you take off a layer of skin? Okay, that's stone cleaning. Sometimes you can take a layer off. And a corrosive cleaner could be useful if you have a very jacked up stone. But mostly, you're using, this is a neutral cleaner, I think it's called squeaky clean.
Squeaky clean,
yeah. Squeaky clean. And then you have these types of scrubbing agents use diatomaceous earth into laminine, which is a solvent, and using it to extract dirt as you rub with it. So getting right into it here we have a piece of marble here that has a bunch of junk on it. Courtney got this from one of his neighbors, and this is a piece of marble. I know what that is. It's some sort of biological matter. Okay, this is biological matter right here. Now, I don't know exactly what it is, but spill, it could be something, because it doesn't feel sticky. It dried, left the film. So it might have been something that was maybe food-based or whatever. There's no oily film here, okay? Because oil stains on stone is something different we're going to get into. Now we got some scrapers here, right? Some scrapers that have been provided. When you first come to a stone like this that has a bunch of junk on it, food stuff, maybe you want to use a scraper. You see how that film is coming up? So when you guys do carpet cleaning, you're told what's the first thing you do to the carpet? You get it wet? No, you do a dry vacuum, or you rake out the cat hair, right? So you get you have a lot of film on here, right? It's okay to take a good scraper like this. You see that dirt right there? If you get that wet, where does that go? It goes into the stone. So you want to take, using a dry method, take off as much as the drama. Now, I'm just going to run it onto the floor because I'm not in somebody's house. So I'm going to run this onto the floor. So,
and guys, this is a metal scraper. Now we have a metal and we have a plastic scraper.
Yeah, there's a plastic scraper as well. What's important is that the edge is clean and doesn't have jiggity-jaggedy on it, because then you want to leave a streak mark. So here, see how I'm taking all that stuff off? Now you got some paint here as well. I asked Courtney to get rid of that paint stuff right there. And we're going to be working on this corner right here, and we're going to clean it. Now, when you get to somebody's house, nobody ever calls you to work on a clean countertop. They're going to call you when the countertop is dirty. You're going to show up, there's going to be food soils. There's going to be like maple syrup. There's going to be pancake mix. There's going to be Kentucky Fried Chicken crumbs. All sorts of oil and grease, whatever. So you're going to do, using a dry method, get as much as you can off as possible. And you go from a dry method to a wet method. So right here, we got as much dry stuff off as we can. If you scrape too hard and too long, you run the risk of putting a scratch mark into the surface. So you got to be careful. So you get these just enough. And that's where practice comes in. Well, how do you know what to do? Buy yourself some marble and at home practice with it. Okay, get a feel for it. Okay, I have a feel for it. He's got a feel for it, so we know when to stop.
And that's what I did too, guys. Before I even start going into clients' homes, I went to my local stone company. You can Google them. They usually sell stones, and you can get sample pieces. So these are sample pieces that I actually picked up for the class last week. And they'll, just sample pieces does not cost that much. And that way, you, like Robert said, you can practice in your driveway. You can practice in your shop. Wherever, before, just to get that comfortability before you go into someone's home.
And you might be asking, well, why am I not talking about the science stuff right now, like marble versus granite versus quartz? The cleaning process I'm going to show you is universal to all the stones, okay? It's also universal to plastic countertops. I'm going to show you stuff here that's universal. You don't need to identify the surface to clean it. You need to know it's stone. But it doesn't matter if this is marble or limestone. What I'm showing you applies to all the stones. Okay? So now I got the steamer here. $1,000 steamer. This here looks fancy. $50 off the internet. How I buy 3 at a time. That way, if one breaks, I got another one. I got 2 more of these in my garage. This looks really fancy. It has a little carrying case here in the kit. When you walk into somebody's house, you put your name on it, Truman, whatever, and open it up, and people think it's all fancy, but it's okay. So I'm going to use here, you got to shake these up. This is stone scrub.
Stone scrub.
This has no pH to it because there's a solvent in it called delaminine. If you're a carpet cleaner, you know that solvents, true solvents, don't have a pH to them. There's no pH. Because in order to have pH, you've got to have percentage of hydrogen. That'd be water present. So there's no way I can, either alkaline or acid, put a stain in this stone using this. Okay? Whereas this corrosive cleaner probably is like a pH 9 or 10. I can leave a mark. So I'm going to put some of this stuff on the surface. Now I sell products for a living. That's what I do. I sell. So I pour it out there. Be liberal with it. Okay. And I have a white rag right here, right? I'm going to use this white rag, and I'm going to rub it on the surface. See, I'm rubbing it. Okay, and now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. I'm going to wipe it clean. See how I made a clean spot right there? See, there's a clean spot I made. See how there's dirt here? There's no dirt there. I did it by hand. Now, when you're in somebody's house, you're not doing it by hand. You're using a machine. So let me get my machine out here. So I see how I made that. I made a clean spot here. Now it's not perfect, but I took the dirt off. See how there's like dirt here, there's biological matter there, but not there, right? Here I still see some paint and some scratches, but I'm just cleaning right now, okay? But I'm going to show you, this here is an abrasive pad. It's like a black type of Brillo, there's no diamonds on it, okay?
More like a scrubby pad.
This is a natural hair pad. I call it natural hair, it's actually made out of pig hair. But because of a large number of people in the world think pigs are unclean, make sure to call it natural hair when you're in somebody's house. You don't know if they're Muslim or if they're Hebrew, but you say pig hair pads in front of somebody, you get thrown out. How do I know? Because I've done it. Natural hair. These are normally used for heat, not for scrubbing. But I use them for light scrubbing, but it's not meant to be abrasive, it's meant to generate heat through a high polishing. So if I'm going to do a scrub, I'll get something more like this to scrub. But if you don't have one of these, you can use one of these. All right? So I'm going to use this black scrubbing pad here. And I'm going to put down here. And I'm going to clean the spot right here. I'm going to be putting down. Notice that I'm not using anything other than this. Okay, I do have neutral cleaner here and other cleaners, but you don't need to go crazy. And you're going to kind of smoosh that on there to get ready to go, right? And you turn it to the lowest, which is 1. And I'm wearing an apron. You want to have masking all around you and masking on the floor because this will splatter. So here I go, get started here. Okay, see most of the biological matter is gone? Not done yet. So now, I got my steamer here. I got it off the internet. Water. You can put chemical in here. You put neutral cleaner in here if you want. I just put regular water in there because I don't like breathing vapors of chemical vapors in the air. Water is good enough. So I'm using this keeps it off, and I can use this in conjunction with a white rag. Did I turn them on? Do we unplug it? So here I have a steamer. Hot steam is coming out. Okay, see how hot steam coming out? I'm going to use this with a rag. Okay? Look at all that dirt that came off on the rag. See that dirt right there? See that dirt? That's what came off of the countertop. You see the dirt that came off? Okay? That's absorbent. Now what, or a stain in here, you can take off this gizmo here, right? This screws off. And now I have it. So now maybe I got a spot that I don't like. I think about these steamers sometimes is that you turn them on and off as I'm talking. But usually if I'm working, I just leave it on. So that's coming out like that. You can work on a spot. You get a rag nearby. See how that's coming out like that? Now, follow me over here. Cut it and we'll go over here. This here is a piece of limestone. This is an embedded stain in the limestone. If I had to bet $1, I would say this limestone was leaned up against the wall, and this dirt was from where it was against the wall in the warehouse. So this is oil and dirt that's here. This dirt stain may be permanent because the limestone's made out of dirt. It's a mineral. So it's mineral and mineral stains. But using the same methodology, let me just show you what we're going to do. So I'm going to have here, I have here my rag, and I have some of this, and we'll see if it comes off, right? There's no biological matter on top of this. I don't need to scrape it. This. See the clean spot that I just made? See the dirt that's in the rag? Okay, you see how that works? You've embedded soil in the surface. You can bring it up with the proper chemical. Okay? This is diatomaceous earth, and I'm scrubbing it up. But I'm not going to be doing this by hand in somebody's house. So I'm going to have a machine do a mechanical scrub followed by a hot steam. And this is why I have a $900 minimum when I walk into somebody's house, or $500 minimum, but my average job is like $900. So, because you do this ahead of time. You just don't walk in and start polishing, you gotta clean it. Just go like this. Now look at that, can you see that? See the dirt that's coming up? Okay? That could be food soil. That could be Kentucky Fried Chicken grease. That could be embedded Cheerios in the surface of the stone. Okay. Now, I'm going to wipe off the excess. Okay, using my rag here. Wipe off the excess, or you can extract it. You guys that have truck mounts or portables or whatever, but you can wipe it off or extract it off however you want to do it. So is that dirt stain gone? Yes. Is the stone clean? No. That's what this device is for here. I'm going to turn this back on. get some hot steam going. So don't burn yourself. Fortunately, my nerve endings aren't too good. So take my rag, take a clean spot on the rag. And again, how you do this, I'm just demonstrating a spot. Okay. I'm showing you the principle involved. Okay, I'm doing a hot steam in a rag. Some of the steamers that you can buy have like a flat piece that's meant for that. Okay, now the stone's clean. Okay, all that dirt came into the rag, and this is a clean piece of limestone now. That's clean. I recommend drying it really good. You don't want any type of mineralization coming up. And we're going to go back over now to the marble. So I just described to you the basic principles of cleaning. Use a neutral cleaner, you get some scrubbing compound, you get a steamer, and you scrape off any stuff that's on top gently. You use chemicals to clean, and then you use a steamer, and then you wipe it up with a rag. You got a truck mount? You can use a truck mount too if you want, but you don't need one. I like using the steamer, and it's very compact and not very expensive. Now, identification of the stone. Let's spend a few minutes on stone identification. There's 3 different genres of stone. You got your igneous, which is volcanic rock. You got your sedimentary, which is your limestones and your travertines, and you got then your metamorphic stone, which is your marbles and your onyx. Now, are there other stones out there? Yes. But for the purpose of cleaning, we're only talking about the stuff that you're going to be finding in the field for the most part. Are there exotic stones? Yes, there are. But you're going to be coming across granite, marble, onyx, travertine, limestone, and quartz. That's what you're going to be finding in the average home that you go to. And that's what this video is going to cover. Here in front of me is marble. And we need to stop for a second. So what I have here is marble, and what you want to do is be able to identify what the stone is. A big part of stone identification is the Mohs scale, M-O-H, Mohs scale. You can Google that or use it on AI, tell you all about the Mohs scale. But what you need to know as a cleaner is that a penny is like a Mohs scale of 3, a knife or a scissor is like a 5, and my fingernail is like a 2. So if I come to a stone like this, and I want to know what it is, I try using my fingernail to scratch it. And guess what? It's not scratching. So then, in a corner somewhere, not like right in front, but in the corner, you try scratching it with a penny. And guess what? It's not scratching. So, fingernail is a 2. This is like a 3. This is like a 5. So now I'm going to see if this scratches with the scissor. Yep. Look, I just scratched it. See right there where my finger's at? See, I scratched it? That means that the Mohs scale for this stone is more than a 3, but less than a 5. Okay? You get that? That's important because between 3 to 5, that's where you find your marbles. Okay? So that is part of identifying. I can scratch it with a knife. Don't do this in the middle of the countertop. Do it inside. Okay? Or do it in a corner somewhere. If I couldn't scratch this, that would mean that it's not marble. people say, I got a marble that don't scratch. And I said, well, you don't have marble then. It's something else. Because they make fake marble. And guess what? They make fake marble to not scratch. So if you don't want to be fooled, know the Mohs scale. So on your truck, you should have a pocket knife or a scissor, a penny, and you should have fingernails. Those are the three things you need. If I can scrape it with a fingernail, that's a real soft stone. And there are some stones you can't scratch with your fingernail. Okay? But then you got a penny, and then you got a knife. If it beats the knife, you probably got granite. I'll get into that soon. But now we're talking about marble right now. So now that I'm on the marble, what do I do here? If I want to polish this, I see here lots of scratches, there's some damage. I see some chips here. This all has a bunch of personality here. You're not going to totally erase the personality. Just like with a carpet or a piece of wood, over the years there's some wear. To make it look perfect is near impossible. Your job as a restoration guy is to make it look pleasing to the eye and to be clean, polished, and sealed. So we're going to get our polishing, we're going to explain the different ways of polishing the marble right now. So we're going to do a cut, and then I'm going to get my polishing stuff. So now we're ready to start polishing this marble. I've already identified it as marble, which means there's several different ways I can attack it. And a lot of those methodologies will determine on the budget of the person. I don't like doing cheap jobs, but there are some jobs that, some opportunities that take less. Like I can use a basic crystallizer to put like a spit shine on the stone that won't last a long time, but it'll make it look shiny, but it won't be a long lasting shine because crystallizers work on the surface. Then you have chemical polishing, like with EMP powder or some diamonds, and this lasts a little bit longer. Now it's easy marble polish. I brought this. This is great for beginners. It doesn't put etch marks into the stone. You heard of 5X powder or other oxalic acid polishing powders. Those work really fast and good, but unless you move really quick, you could actually, it works against you where it'll actually dull the stone. Also, the easy marble polish, if it gets on something, easier to clean. The oxalic acid, one little fleck goes across the room and hits someone's refrigerator or lands on another piece of stone somewhere else, you have a little hole. The oxalic acid will burn a hole in something else. So this chemical polishing, but then you have diamond polishing. For years, these were the staple of diamond polishing. These are resin discs. Okay, this one's a 50, this one's a 300. You can get them in various types of grits. Now we have new technology came out. You have like these wave discs like this, where they don't use resin. And I prefer these sometimes because less chance of doing resin burn. And then you have here, you have like these M pads from Stone Pro Hard Rock Tool. The diamonds are embedded in the pads. And everybody has these. So I'm using these pads here, but these are industry staple. It's a 3-step system. I prefer a 3-step system with the pads, or you can get like a multi-step system with the pads. Okay? But if you're a beginner, you can do the 3-step system with the pads. And I'll go over that right now. So I'm going to show the beginner way. And then we're going to go to the more advanced way, okay? And I say, ma'am, what's your budget? And she might say, well, you know, I'm in this price range. I leave it out sometimes because people don't understand the level of work. And I'll be saying, well, I can do my basic clean, seal, and polish on this countertop will be $590 to do a basic job. But it won't take out all the nicks and scratches. If I'm going to take out the nicks and scratches, then I'm going to use diamonds, and then it's going to be maybe $900 to $1,200. And then they have a decision to make. You're going to get out of there in a couple hours with a $509 job, or you spend the whole day there and make $1,200. It's up to the people. Okay? So I'm going to show the basic way first, and this basic way is not going to get rid of all the damages. It still looks good. Okay? So I'm going to break out my machine here. So this is a basic way. I got a 3-step pad system here. They make pad systems that go 200, 400, 800, 2,000, 3,000, 8,000, 11,000. Okay, you're more experienced to get that. These is 1, 2, 3. This first pad here is like 200 to 400. This is like 400 to 800, and the 3 pad is like 800 to like 3,000. That's the average. So it's called a hybrid pad. So I'm going to use the M1 pad here right now in some plain water. And you get yourself the right size 7-inch pad, 7-inch holder. Don't be showing up with a 3-inch holder and have a 7-inch pad, because then all the pressure's in the middle. So make sure you get the right pad for the right size. You put some water down. Okay, and you set it to low speed. Now see here, it looks like foam coming up here. See how it looks a little foamy? That's not foam. That's pieces of the marble. Okay? That is wet calcium. See a little bit white on my finger? My finger's white, but it's whiter because of the calcium. Okay? So I'm taking off a layer of the stone. So it's not foam. I like going both directions, back and forth, up and down. All right, so now, see here how we have that white mess on there? Get myself a rag. You have to clean the countertop between steps, because I just used a low grit pad and I made some slurry. That slurry that I took off will prevent you from making a high polish on it. You want to get rid of your slurry between steps. So now I just rubbed this off and it's smooth. I don't know how good the camera can find it there, but if you touch it, that is smooth as a baby's bottom. It's very, very smooth. Now I'm going to go to the number 2 pad in the diamond system. And people say, well, you know, why should I buy a multi-step system if the 3-pad system exists? The 3-pad system will get the stone like 98% grade. That last 2%, maybe you got to go to a chemical polish. Whereas if you're going to use water only, the 7-step process is better. So here I am with the number 2 pad. Can you see that slurry here? That foam, that's not foam. That's pieces of the marble coming up. I'm still taking marble off the surface. Now I'm going to clean it off again. Smooth, very smooth, okay? That's why you gotta go get some marble for yourself, do it in your garage. You watching the video? Because now we're touching this. Okay? Courtney Lee, come over, touch that.
Yes, sir.
Tell me how smooth that is.
Oh yeah, look at that. Yep.
Now run your finger over here where we didn't do nothing.
Yep.
Feel the difference?
Nice, gritty, yep.
Okay? So now we're going to go to the last step, the number 3-step, right? And that 3-step, we'll put a moderate shine onto here. Won't be perfect, but it's to be moderate shine, and then we'll assess it, and then decide if we go with a crystallizer or maybe use some of the EMP powder. Now you notice, I'm not going high speed. This is the lowest speed. You don't got to do high speed with this. Okay, now I'm going to clean it off. Oh, it looks great. All right. Now remember I told you earlier how I use the natural hair pads? Not pork pads or pig pads, these natural hair pads. Heat pad, only use heat and friction to buff this. So you guys who have nice cars, you know how you buff your car? That's what I'm doing to the stone right now. I'm going to buff this stone dry. Important is a clean pad because you don't want any impurities on here that'll grind into the surface. Now I can go a little bit higher speed. All right, that's super shiny. I know if you're going to get the camera and get the light reflection there. See that reflection? Okay, that's a natural shine. Okay, this here is a natural shine. It's probably not going to get any shinier than this naturally. Not all marble polishes the same. Get some people say, well, it's not shiny enough. I want more shine. Well, then maybe you got to go to a chemical shine, a chemical polish. Now, based on my experience, see how shiny this is, Courtney? See how shiny that is?
Yep.
Okay? 90% of the time you're done. Now you're ready to seal it and then you collect your money, get out. So, but I want it a little more shinier. Okay? So, based on my experience, and I'm passing it to you via the video here, my experience tells me that using a powder like a 5X or EMP is not going to make this more shiny. Sometimes a chemical will help add to the shine, a powder, but these powders remove marble from the surface. The oxalic acid and the powders are abrasive, okay? Crystallizers add to the surface. Okay? So I can't get this any shinier by taking stuff away, but I might be able to get it shinier by adding to the surface. So here, I got a basic crystallizer here. This is Polish Pro. There's other brands that are out there too. But I'm going to use a Polish Pro for this right now on this spot and see how much shinier I can get this. I'm going to cut for a second. I'm going to get a wet pad.
All right, guys, as you can see the part that he did. See that shine that came back? You don't see any of those etch marks. But when we come back, look at those. Look at those etch marks right there. So this was a perfect piece to learn. See that, guys? See all those etch marks? And look right here how he brought that back. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, so now on this side, we're going to do the
a stronger process using multiple diamonds.
We're going to use the diamond pads more aggressive
See
on
how
this
these
side.
etch marks are really bad?
Yep.
We're going to go to these etch marks. So this was a 3-step basic process with the crystallizer. Then I'm going to do a bunch of diamonds right here.
Nice.
Multiple diamonds.
All right.
Okay, now we're picking up. We had just done a basic 3-step polish here with a crystallizer. Okay? And that job, like I said, that 3-step job might take between $500 and $700. Maybe do somebody's kitchen with a 3-step process. Maybe more, maybe less, depending where you live. I'm just giving you generals, right? Now here we are. We're going to do some more advanced polishing here for the deep etch marks. So I'm going to hit this side button here and hit that again. And see the gloss right there has come up as a 49.6. So when we're done, we're going to see what the difference is. So now I'm going to put this over here. So now we're going to do a multi-step grit system, not a 3-step system. You can get a multi-step system with the impregnated diamond pads that are mushy. You get a multi-step system with these wave type pads, or get a multi-step system with the traditional resin pads. All right? I like to have everything available. Do you need everything? No, but should you have everything? Yes. So spend some money and have what you need, and then you practice with it, and then you tell me what you like. I like keeping some low grits down here. I like the lower grits, like 350. I like having those in the resins for deep scratches or damage. But like these wave pads here, down to like 150, that's a good starting point for most of you. So I'm going to start at 150, and this goes up to 10,000. Using these wave pads, I'm going to do a multiple step system here, using these pads, to gradually get the stone from dull and etched to super shiny. And I'm not going to be talking a whole lot. I'm just showing you the process. I think when they edit this, they might speed it up. So I'm going to start here with the 150 pad from the wave system, doing a spot here. Notice I'm doing low speed. I'm not doing high speed here. Now, see here how it doesn't look like foam, looks like foam a little bit? Okay, that's damage. I'm damaging the stone, but in a good way. You ever see people get a nose job? The doctor has to break the nose first before they can put a new nose on there. Okay, you have to damage the marble. You got to damage the marble, okay, in order to fix the marble. So here I am using the number 1 pad. Now let me give you a pro tip here. You're doing a countertop. Do not take this number 1 pad and run it right up to the wall. Only use this pad where the damage is in the general area. Why do you think? I'll tell you why. Because when I did the 150 pad here into the edge, I have to do every pad equally well along that edge there. That's where guys make mistakes, is because they can't make it shiny along the edge. So nobody is doing damage on the edge. Keep these stronger pads in the middle where they belong, and then you gradually feather out from there. So I just did the 150 pad here. Oh, it comes off really hard. That's good. That's good Velcro. Never get cheap Velcro where it flies off. Wind up in somebody's window. Get the good Velcro. Doing 300 disc now. It's 300 disc wave pad. I'm going to wipe off the slurry, and it's nice and smooth. Get the etch marks out. So you did the low disc. Make sure there are no etch marks. If there's etch marks, you might have to break out the 50 disc resin to get rid of the etch mark. But in this case, the 150 did the job. Put some more water down. Now I'm doing the next step here. Still making slurry. Ah. I'm going to 500. And no skipping. No skipping grits. Gotta go right through. I'm weak. 1,000. Now another reason I like these wave discs, they're absorbent. You know, you can soak these in water, and the water be in the disc, so they're absorbent. These discs aren't absorbent. That's why they have grooves in them. The grooves expel the water. These are absorbent discs. So when you put some water down, the water will be absorbed into the disc. It's harder to leave a resin burn behind with these discs. Okay. 2,000. Oh, it feels real smooth. Now maybe you're asking, how do I know when to stop? You get a feel for it. Like if you're driving on your car, if you have a nice car, you have good suspension, and like some people they can tell when you're driving on concrete or driving on asphalt or driving on dirt. You kind of have a feel when you're driving your car on the road, what kind of feel the road has. You have a feel for these discs in general. You have a feel for how the marble's going. And you just have to practice, okay? Get a piece, and you'll know from when you're moving back and forth with it, you'll know when it's time to stop. That's all I can tell you. It's you develop a feel for it. Now I'm going to 3,000 disc. 2,000 to 3,000. Stepping up. Notice how I'm making less slurry. Okay? If you see that, how you're making less slurry, that's because you're cutting less of the marble away. Now going to a 6,000 grit. Now do the final grits 10,000. Edit that out. Just kidding. I wish you could feel at home how smooth this is. It's like glass. Alright, now I'm going to dry the surface with a rag. Again, if you have a truck mount or you have a portable and you want to use your tool to suck it off, that's fine. I'm just going to use a rag here in this area. A couple dry rags here. Then I'm going to dry the surface. Then I'm going to use my natural hair pad to speed dry it, to buff it. Then everyone see what we got. My natural hair pad. Here's a clean natural hair pad. So I dropped it. Still clean. 5-minute rule. 5-second rule. Now here I can do a little bit higher speed because I'm trying to dry it. Okay, now get our glossometer out. I'm going to put it on a shiny spot like right here. And it's at a 126.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
Now Courtney, I want to come over here. I want you to see the difference here. And you might want to have the camera off the thing here.
Yep.
Now, I want you to see the difference between the multi-step shine versus the three-step shine. You see the difference in the shine?
Difference.
Now, stand here where I'm at and look this way. See the difference in the shine?
Yep.
Okay?
Crazy.
There's that camera. Do you look here at a multi-step diamond polishing shine versus a three-step shine with the crystallizer?
Huge difference.
Now, we
Huge
liked that
difference.
before. We liked this before, right?
Yep.
But you like that now, right?
Yes.
See,
And what I'm going to do too, guys, I want to show you when we remove all this, I want to show you the light reflection. Like when I see here, I can see and even you can see the light difference. So what Robert just did with that more aggressive step, you can actually see, and that's another thing that we kind of gauge it off too when we're in clients' homes, is when we can show them the reflection from the light. So there's a huge reflection right here from the light in the ceiling from the part we didn't even do. Huge difference.
so I'm going to take this off now. We're going to do that.
All right.
So you can then divert. More steps. More steps is more time, means more money.
Yep. Something like this, guys, like I said, a marble, just a vanity, I got $1,200 for, okay? So we went from 117 from a 7-step to a part that before, and the part that we didn't even do, 53. Huge difference.
Now I'll point here. You see the difference in the shine?
Yep.
Okay? We were happy with that earlier, right?
Yep.
We're like, oh, this is wonderful. This looks better.
Looks better.
Buy a piece of marble, practice in your own home or your own garage. Don't practice in somebody's house. But once you learn the difference, then you can be a good salesman.
Perfect.
You
Yep.
can say, ma'am, I could do a 10-step process here. It might take me a day and a half. But it's going to be like $1,200, $2,500.
Yep.
Or if they have a budget, you do 3 steps. Still looks good.
Yep.
And they might not know the difference between the two. That's why you're a salesman. You buy some marble pieces and you show people.
Bingo.
This far end here, I started off by showing 3 steps and a crystallizer. I did multiple steps here with diamonds, no crystallizer or any type of chemical. Get a brilliant shine. Now I'm going to show how to do what they call like a budget polish. Okay, just chemical. Okay, I don't need diamonds. Maybe it's a rental home. Maybe they have a large family with 10 kids and they can't pay you to come back and keep polishing the marble. They just want to look cleaner, and you want a clean seal polish, okay? So I have your EMP powder. There's other powders on the market too. I appreciate Stone Pro letting us have some of this to use for our little video today. This chemical will gradually remove some of the stone. So using diamonds to remove the stone, I'm using chemical to remove the stone. Easy marble polish is less likely to cause damage in a home. 5X powder, oxalic acid, other strong powders using acids, if they splatter, can do damage. So if you're a beginner, this maybe make it like a minute longer to use, like a minute longer, but it's safer. So practice with this. Okay, so I'm going to make a little bit of mud here. And I'm going to put some of this, make like an oatmeal type of a thing, getting absorbed into the pad. And now at a low, slow speed, I'm going to start polishing. So the heat and friction from the pad are making a chemical process happen on the stone. I'm gradually wearing away a layer of stone. Gradually. Okay, so as you're working, it's good to either have a squeegee or a rag nearby, and you test it periodically. Okay, I have a rag. You have a squeegee? Oh, look at that. They have everything here. No squeegee. Okay, I got a rag here. Not a problem. Use this rag here, and I'm looking at it. Yeah, it's shiny. So now, I like going, when I got the process down, I'm going to use this rag and get rid of the excess material here. Okay, this is a pro tip. Get rid of the excess material. There's still chemical on the pad. Okay? Now I'm going to do a faster polish using heat and friction, but at a higher speed with chemicals still on the pad. So I'm going to get some more chemical reaction, but not like a lot of water. So I'm going to go to it like about 500 to 800 RPM. Now I'm going to do a final buff with the clean natural hair pad. Do a final buff here. The clean natural hair. And now I'm going to use a crystallizer. Where'd it go? Here it is. Crystallizer here. crystallizer adds to the surface. So put the crystallizer on there. Okay, that's done. And I'm going to clean off the surface now, and then we'll look at the difference between these different types of shines, okay? Let me clean it up. Down. Okay. Courtney Lee, you want to come over and see this?
Yes, sir.
See here, that's a chemical polish only.
Yep.
So you see some of the etch marks still?
Yeah, you see the edge marks though.
Okay, you see some of the personality, how it
Yep.
didn't come off?
Yep.
So, that's what we're going to explain. You got the chemical shine here. That is just one step, 2 steps. I did use the EMP powder, and then I used some crystallizer. Okay, that is what I call budget shine, and you'd be out of here in like 2.5, 3 hours. That's my minimum, $5 minimum. Okay, then you got your 3-step diamonds with a little bit of crystallizer at the end, where you got the 7-step process. So each one has its own advantages for different budgets and households. If you're doing 7 steps, you're in a high-end home and they want it done, but probably 80% of the jobs you'll do will be the 3-step with the crystallizer, and you will have a certain percentage of people just want you to buff it and get out. Clean, seal, polish, you know. And then there's damage repair, which is more like what the multi-step system is. All right, so that's marble. That's 3 steps of marble. And now to seal this, usually what you put on here is an impregnating sealer. Impregnating sealers mean they suck into the surface and they will block water stains. Occasionally people put topical coatings on it. It's only if it's a special situation. Topical coatings are not recommended. And the only time you put a topical on a marble countertop like this is that if it's like a rental or Airbnb, or people bought the house, they didn't realize marble was there, and if they had their druthers, they'd rather have a Corian countertop, because they don't pay you to come back every 6 months to buff out the etch marks. All right? But most of the time, people want to keep the marble as marble, and now the top coat on it, use an impregnating sealer. And sometimes you can get an enhancing sealer. Now before we move on from the marble, understand this, is that the lighter marbles are easier to polish because there's more calcium in it. You get a dark marble, it means there's less calcium and more likely to be harder to polish with the chemical. The darker marbles, you're more polishing with the abrasives or maybe a crystallizer. But the 5X powders and the EMP powders don't respond as well when there's no calcium present. And so the darker marbles have a tendency to resist the chemical polish. So just remember that when you go bid on a job and you see a countertop, you think, well, it's darker. Darker is usually stronger and harder to polish. The lighter stuff is going to be much easier to polish than the dark stuff. Now we're going to be moving on to two other types of stone. We got some limestone and some granite to cover. Okay, I'm Robert. I'm back here with a piece of limestone. This limestone is different from the marble. Limestone is sedimentary stone, marble is metamorphic. Sedimentary stones do not shine like marble. And you're going to come across a lot of people that wish they had marble. They want you to make it shine like marble. But here's part of the problem, is that the geology prevents that from happening. You have to know more than the customer. Now I got my penny here, and I've already tested it, but I can put a scratch mark in this limestone. Limestone is less hard than marble. Most of the time. It runs between maybe a 3 to 5. Okay, or maybe a little bit less, but it didn't bake in the ground as long. If this limestone stayed in the ground another couple million years, it'll turn into marble. Because it remelts and then turns into marble. That's why it's called metamorphic stone. It metamorphosizes. So limestone is the most popular and most readily available building material on the planet Earth. There's limestone on every continent of the world. The pyramids are made out of limestone. The pyramids in Mexico, made out of limestone. Okay? Castles in England, built out of limestone with some granite. Granite and limestone, granite and limestone. Granite's harder to work with, but limestone's everywhere. So a lot of limestone has been made and used as building blocks, okay, to build big structures. But now you got somebody's house. They may have a limestone countertop, but you're more likely to find limestone in somebody's shower. So what I'm going to show you will also apply to doing like on the wall. But I'm not doing it on a wall, I'm doing it like this because it's easier, okay? But I'm going to show you how to clean a piece of limestone and put a chemical shine on it. So remember, I had here before, I had my stone scrub. I showed earlier how to clean. And this is dirty. I took my clean spot and I covered it up. But I'm going to put a liberal amount of the cleaning juice onto here. And I'm going to roll it on here. And now, at a low speed, that dirt is coming up, that's dirt coming up. Because limestone is absorbent, a lot of that junk is getting absorbed into the stone, so I've got to be liberal with the chemical. Keep it wet. It smells like fresh oranges because it's laminating in here. All right. Now I'm going to take a rag and wipe off the excess. Then I'm going to steam it. Okay. Now it's clean. But now I got to steam it because I just wiped off the top, right? If you have a truck mount, you can do a truck mount with this, or you have a portable with the surface countertop cleaner. Just do low pressure because this is so soft. You can put swirl marks in it with a spinner. So do low pressure here. I'm going to turn my steamer on now. Plug it in. That's about plug it in. Plug it in, plug it in. That junk that came off. So I'm steaming it, then I'm wiping it. The hot steam pushes the junk out of the pores. Now this limestone looks a little bit darker because it absorbed water. It's like a carpet. Your carpet clean and the carpet looks darker when it's wet. This is a clean, dull piece of travertine. It's a piece of limestone. Now I'm going to show you how to do chemical polish on this. If you can make this shiny, then you can make anything shiny. So let me get my machine with some down there. I'm gonna get the chemical absorbed into the pad. Now at a slow speed. Smooth. Now, there is some reflectivity coming up on it. Now, I'm going to switch over to the crystallizer. Now, I'm going to do the crystallizer right here. Now see how it's pretty shiny right there? Not a marble shine, but it's a limestone shine. Now I'm going to get an 11,000 diamond pad. Now, these diamond pads, you see how they're clear on this side? It's a shellac. Okay, they make other diamond pads that use an epoxy resin. Usually they're very colorful. They have a thick epoxy resin and they're kind of stiff. Do not do high-speed polishing with epoxy resin. The epoxy resin from these pads will transfer onto those are meant for low and slow and wet. But with these pads that may use a shellac to hold the diamonds to the disc, you can go higher speed. So here I'm going to do a dry, because this is chemical, right? So I used a crystallizer. So I'm going to do a final buff with 11,000 diamond pad on this. So here we go. Take a look at that. That's Mark Cavill calling me. He wants to know if I'm using this product or not. So you see how that's different right here? Okay? I'm going to give you a chance with the camera to go this way. Look at it going this way in the direction. Let's get a light. Let's put a camera light on there. Let's put a light on it. Let's get a light on my phone. See how there's a shine right there? Okay, you see that shine? That's a chemical polish onto the limestone. Okay, you're not going to get that with diamonds in water. All right, versus the dull. See how dull that is right here? See how it's dull right there? It's dull versus shiny. So you get somebody shower, that's what they want. Got a bathroom floor, limestone, that's what they want. If they want it shinier than that, they're probably wishing they had marble. But this to that, this is clean versus shiny. Okay. And that's still money, because usually you have a whole bathroom to do. Spend the day in somebody's bathroom. I'm charging a couple of grand. I'm not gonna be doing it for cheap. You feel that right there? Smooth it is. It's actually rougher over here. That's how you put a chemical polish onto limestone. Use a powder followed by a crystallizer. Okay, and did it in 3 steps. And you see the shine here is not as shiny as marble, but it's respectable. And then you can seal that, and you're good for a period of time. Now we move on to granite. Go. Okay, for the sake of time, I didn't want to show you how to steam all this other stuff, whatever. You already see me steam a couple times already. But we steamed these 2 pieces of granite, and look at all the dirt that came off. Okay, so the steamer does work. Highly recommend using a steamer. Granite is igneous stone. You can't scratch it unless you have a diamond. If you're a beginner, you're not using diamonds on granite. Okay? You're going to polish it, but doing a chemical polish. You're not using any diamonds. You start using diamonds on granite, you gotta use special granite diamonds. And it's a big process. We're not gonna be explaining that in this video today. But in most people's houses, you're gonna have granite that you're gonna steam it really good, get stuff out of the nooks and crannies of it. And maybe the granite has a dull appearance. Granite is like a granola bar. See how here, how we have different types of minerals all pressed together? There might be 6 or 7 different minerals present in this stone. Some minerals are stronger than others. So people have like a corrosive cleaner, like this. They're using this corrosive cleaner on the granite. What's happening is the weaker minerals, maybe the talc, is getting dissolved by this mineral cleaner because it dissolves minerals, leaving behind maybe the stronger molecules of minerals. Maybe you got some feldspar in here that's really, really strong and hard. And so what happens is that the weaker minerals are obliterated, and then it causes like a pebbly surface. So there's a chemical shine here that adds to the surface. So you have two different types of chemicals that you can use. We have like a granite polish like this, and this granite polish looks like a paste. And this paste, as you work it in, it kind of fills in the nooks and crannies. This is a clear paste. You can also get paste additives that are dark and light. Like for this light colored granite, you use the light powder, and for the dark colored granite, use the dark powder. So I'm going to show how to use the paste to put like a paste shine on this granite. So I'm going to, using my finger, don't do that, it's bad example. Using my finger. See, look, there's a scoop right here, I didn't use it. Should have used a scoop. Now I'm going to get this paste worked onto the pad at low speed. Put a nice shine onto that spot. You see it on the camera, okay? That shiny spot that I made right here, okay? And what happened was that this paste filled in nooks and crannies, leaving behind a shine. It replaced the little bits of pieces of the product, filled in the little micro fissures and scratches. Another product we have I can show you is the Polish Pro, which is from Hard Rock Tool. This is an acrylic based. Okay, we're adding. So this is an acrylic fortified with some minerals in it, right? Again, this will leave behind a film that will fill in the nooks and crannies. So I'm going to use a different pad right now because I don't want to cross-contaminate. So I've got a natural hair pad here. And I'm going to put some of the Polish Pro here. I'm going to work it on the pad. Again, I put a shine onto the surface. There's a shine here. I'm adding material to the surface. That is the safest thing that you can do with granite, is do polishes and pastes that add to the surface. If you're going to break out some diamonds and do some diamond polishing on the surface, be experienced or prepared, because diamond polishing on granite is a long, slow, wet process. I'm not trying to discourage you from doing it, but if you're watching this video, it's because you're getting into this business. And if you're going to clean, seal, and polish, This is the basic methodology you're going to do. Now from this point, I could put wipe a sealer on it, do a final buff, and I get paid. Clean, seal, polished granite, whether it's light or dark, works the same way. Now we're going to move on to quartz. So now we're here at the final stone we're talking about is quartz. Now technically quartz is like a Frankenstone. It's man-made. They take actual stone, they grind it up, they add epoxy resin to it, and then they make a stone. Now you're probably wondering, why would anybody take perfectly good stone and then grind it up and then make a fake stone out of it? Well, there's two reasons why. This stone is very, very resistant to stains. Okay? It is stainable depending on the quality of the quartz. There's some quartzes out there that are very easy to stain and some are cheaper because they're cheaper. Some really high quality quartz hard to stain. So yeah, you have to polish out the stains. The other thing too is that if you are building a set of houses, you're a builder, and I have this beautiful granite here. Can you see that in the camera still, the granite? Okay, this granite. And I build a house, and a lady says, I like this house, build me this house. Then a year later she gets a house, but the granite is different because no two stone slabs are alike. And she goes, that slab is different from the slab I saw a year ago in the other house because no two stone slabs alike. But if you're going to build 50 homes to 50 picky people, you can make 1 million of these because you're manufacturing it. When you manufacture it, you can make it all look the same. Like at McDonald's, the cheese on the hamburger. What if the yellow cheese on the McDonald's hamburger was a different shade of yellow? Would you eat it? He said, well, something's wrong with this. This is not yellow cheese, this is white cheese. I don't want to, there must be something bad with it. So that's what people think, right? But every McDonald's hamburger, whether it's California, Ohio, or Florida, looks the same. Why? Because it's manufactured. Quartz is manufactured like a hamburger that way, okay? You can make quartz look alike all over the place. So in that way, it's beautiful that you can keep imitating it. But the ultra wealthy and people you want to make big bucks from, they're probably going to have natural stone like a limestone, a marble, or even a granite. But you'll find quartz in houses that were built by an investor where they built 50 houses at a time. And they went to a stone show and bought enough quartz for 50 homes. And they all look alike that way. Then there's people that can order different patterns as well. And this, I like a little purple in there, a little bit of green or whatever. You can have quartz made to order, really high-end stuff. So this is very stain resistant. You see here, the edge here, it's got the same all the way through. Okay? This is epoxy resin. And I have a quartz polishing kit right here. So, they make diamonds for quartz. These are specialty quartz diamonds. Okay? And these are diamond pads for quartz. I'm not going to show you how to use them for this video because quartz repair, like granite repair diamonds, it takes a long time and it's not easy money. Usually a quartz specialist does this, but as a beginner or a moderate user, you can use the 3-step system to clean, seal, polish your average quartz countertop that have micro scratches in it or minor stains. That's okay. I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay? So now I'm going to start off with if you cut here for a second. So here I have the number 1 step, which is called snake skin revealer. It's called something else, but all these different granite quartz processes have a 3-step process. What this stuff does here is it removes a layer and leaves behind a light texture. So I'm cleaning it and texturizing it. Okay. And now I'm going to get a rag and wipe off the excess and move on to my next step. Okay, now if you look in the light, you can't see it from that camera angle maybe, but there's a light texture to the quartz. That's true with all quartz. You have a light texture on it. That's why if you use diamond pads, it kind of flattens it to get the scratches out. Then you've got to use the texturizer to put the texture back. So it looks, the whole thing looks textured again. That's how quartz is made, to have a little light texture to it. Now the next step we're going to do is the number 2 step. I hope if I read better. This is the polish. This polish is meant to make it look shiny again. Because usually when you use a texturizer, you take some of the shine off. We're going to put the shine back. See how it's liquidy right there? That resin bonds to the epoxy. And it's going to shine. Because you cannot shine epoxy like you shine stone. That's resin right there. Now, a little bit of this resin on this pad. Okay. Oh, that looks beautiful. I wiped off some of the excess onto a rag here, because I'm not doing the whole countertop, I'm just doing one spot, right? So I wiped off some of the excess. Now I'm going to do like a little more of a drier buff with it. Oh yeah, it looks good. Now it's nice and shiny.
Oh yeah.
And now I'm going to, I got oh yeah from Courtney. Now I'm going to the final polish. And I need one more of these. If you cut for a second, I saw one over here. So these pads, go ahead. These pads come with the kit. You can buy extras of these. But usually we keep them separated. So I have 2 pads here. I have 1 pad for step 2, 1 pad for step 3. You don't want to mix the chemicals up. Then you have here like a lambswool applicator for the snakeskin revealer. But 3 steps, you get a good shine. Hope if I get it right in the center. Drop it right on there. Good. And this is the number 3 step. This is the final polish. Put this final polish on there. Got a little color to it. Looks nice and milky. Get it on there. Oh yeah. Now, I'm going to get a natural hair pad and do a little heat buff on it.
Question, could you go over 11,000 pad with that? Or you don't want to do that? No.
You don't want to change the texture.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. So horsehair, okay. Natural.
Use a natural hair pad, just do a little heat and cleaning. Okay? Little final buff on it, no chemical. Okay. So Courtney, have you heard on the camera, he asked if I do 11,000 diamond to finish it? No, because you don't want to use any diamonds on this because you don't want to change the texture. You just put the texture on with the first step. Diamond pads remove texture from the quartz where they change it. So that's why I use a texturizer system here. So you can see right here, the spot that I did is clean and polished, also sealed. Why is it still sealed? It's epoxy resin. You don't put sealer on epoxy resin like you would with a granite or a travertine or a limestone or a marble. You don't seal quartz that way. This final polish system here is a resin, and this is clean, sealed, and polished. The hardest part about doing quartz is if I do this here, I kind of got to do it everywhere. Because when people look in the light and they see different texture. The hard part about this is making texture the same all the way across. That's why some practice is needed. I did one spot, doing one spot's easy. You want to practice, get a bigger piece, and do the whole thing. That's why scratch removal is so hard with epoxy, with this, because if I scratched it, then I have to get some like white filler or some dark filler or some gray filler and put it in there. Then I have to retexturize everything. So I just showed you though this methodology using a 3-step process like this. You're going to steam clean it, just like we did earlier, steam clean it. You're going to mask everything off, do a 3-step system. You're still looking at maybe $900, $1,200, okay? Low end, $500. But usually you're going to find quartz in tract housing, houses that were built like a lot of the same houses, people that own Airbnbs, people that rent their houses out, rental units, because this is much, much harder to stain. It can be stained, but if I poured grape juice on this, it probably won't do nothing to it because the epoxy resin resists the acid. That's why we have a 3-step system like this. It's epoxy resins working to refinish the stone. And I'm going to stop there. You're going to cut it. Now we're going to do a review of the different stones that we did and the products that we used. Now the products that we use here today, there's a lot of different products out there. Go to your local distributor or relationships you have with people, but it's all in the same class. So we did the marble, and you could have a 3-step system, 1, 2, 3. I'm showing the one here from Hard Rock Tool. It's a 3-step diamond impregnated system. And it uses, at the final thing, this is a natural hair pad, not a pig hair, natural hair pad, okay? And then you have impregnated pads for the marble that go by steps. This is 3,000 grit, 800 grit, 200 grit. So you go from 200 to 11,000. It's a whole stack of pads. Also, you could buy discs like this, again, that are different grits. 6, 7-step system, used with water. And then we have the traditional resin pads, okay? Again, you can do multiple steps with these. Usually I like these for the lower grits. I got a 350 here that I use myself. But these are traditional pads, whatever you want to do. But if you're a beginner, fresh out of the box beginner, the safest thing to use is the 3-step pads that are mushy. The mushy 3-step pads. And you graduate up. These you got to practice first. These you got to put to practice. And so we did, and then if you do chemical shine with easy marble polish or 5X powder, oxalic acid. You could buy non-etching powders versus etching powders. Just ask your distributor, whoever you're buying from, tell them about a non-etching polishing powder versus a etchable powder. The etchable powders, the 5X oxalic acids, you have to be careful because you have to neutralize it, because the 5X will keep eating at the marble. You have to neutralize it. You put a shine on it, don't take the shine off. Then you have chemical sprays like this. These are acrylic-based systems with minerals in them. And what these sprays do is the sprays will kind of put a glaze on the surface, and we're adding to the surface. These other processes, whether it's a chemical polish with the powder or any of these processes here with the diamonds, are removing material. This here, we're adding material, okay, to put a kind of glaze on the top. Then here we have the limestone. Limestone is very similar to the marble in the sense that it's a scratchable stone. You can use the different grits to take scratches out, but it's not going to shine like marble. I showed you how to do a step system here with using a powder and then the crystallizer, and we're able to put a shine onto the limestone, a chemical shine. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Putting a chemical shine on the stone, that's what they want, and then you can seal it. Otherwise, the stone is dull. Moving down the line. We have dark granite here, light granite here. Just a little bit of geology. See how this granite's like lighter, and you see a little flow, okay? This granite came from lava. Lava is when the material is outside of the volcano. Maybe it's running down the side of a hill. And it takes maybe thousands and thousands and thousands of years, but the gap between the crystals is larger, and therefore it's more porous. You know, it's very hard. Then you have the darker granite. That's usually formed from magma, which is inside the ground. And the magma is pressurized and heated up more than the lighter granite. So you see lighter granite, definitely got to seal it. The lighter granite is easier to damage with stains like coffee stains and stuff like that. The darker granite's more dense. Either way, you're not putting diamonds on this if you're a beginner. You've got polishing pastes like these here, and you have acrylic sprays like these here to put a shine on it. You clean it with a steamer, and you can get different color powders, light and dark, and the light powder will cover stains. The dark powder will cover stains. You massage those powders into the surface. So these pastes are clear, but you can add a dark or light powder to them to kind of match the color. And therefore you get a shine and a seal, but also you're able to help the stains. Then we have a quartz, which is natural stone that was taken and ground up and then mixed with epoxy resin. And this creates like a Frankenstein stone, or Frankenstone as I call it. And even though you could use diamonds, the specialty diamonds for the quartz, if you're a beginner, don't worry about the scratches and whatever, or the holes. Just focus on clean seal polish. Again, you can steam it clean. And then there's a 3-step system. And this is one from Quartz Renew. But there are other systems out there. This is just one that Jim Lang gave me as a demo. And thank you to Jim. But you can get, whatever we show, people give to us to use. So hey, why am I going to turn it away, right? But there's other systems that are out there that are very similar. Just go with who supports you. So I did a 3-step process here, put a brilliant shine onto the quartz, okay, using the texture revealer. You can see with my finger, see how there's a little bit of texture there. Okay, that's on purpose. That's on purpose. Yes, somebody might mistake this for a marble. Oh, I want that texture gone. No, ma'am, the texture stays. The texture is because it's quartz, okay? Then you have these other materials here. These are polymer resins that are designed to attach to the quartz, okay? You cannot do diamond polishing on the quartz because it looks funny, because you just ground down a bunch of epoxy. And there's lots of other videos online that you can watch for specific stuff, how to repair and whatever, but I'm trying to help you make money now. So we're going to spend a minute talking about pricing and what you can expect to charge for these. And since I'm here in front of the quartz, I'll start here, okay? You're probably going to find the quartz in a home that there's maybe many homes built at the same time, and a builder went to a quartz show somewhere and bought like a giant trailer full of quartz, and now there's like many houses in the same neighborhood that have the same stuff. That's good for you, because if you do one, you do all of them, right? So naturally, people who have quartz, maybe it's middle to upper class, people that have rental homes, people that have Airbnbs, because it's harder to stain this stuff. Still, it's going to take you like all day to do it right. And quartz is not cheap because it's manufactured. Okay, so quartz is expensive. So you're looking at here, I would do anywhere from $500 to $1,500, depending on how long I was going to stay in there. You're looking at using maybe a couple $100 worth of material at the most. Spending time masking the kitchen, and the hardest part of this is getting the texture all the same. Because when you do the texturizing, which is the first step, you've got to make it the same texture everywhere. Then the polishing part is actually pretty easy. But if you're going to spend like half a day in somebody's house, maybe 3 to 4 hours, between $500 and $900. Spend the whole day, I'd say $1,200, $2,000, whatever you can get based upon your neighborhood, your circumstances. Moving on to the granite. Granite is regional. Like here in Georgia, everybody has granite because there's granite everywhere here in Georgia. It comes out of the ground. It's cheap. It comes out of the ground. There's granite mines everywhere. And they pull it out and they polish it, sell it to builders. All right? So you have more middle-class people in Georgia with granite. Whereas where I am in Las Vegas, there's no granite in the ground. You got to import the granite from Georgia or somewhere else. So granite's more expensive. So usually, if you're going to walk into a middle-class home and there's granite, it's a clean steel polish job, anywhere from $900 to $2,000, depending on how much damage there is. There's no scratch. You cannot scratch granite, but it can be stained because it's porous. So you're clean sealing and polishing, like we put in the video. Again, you're masking everything off and using different powders. Coming over to limestone, it's rare. You're going to find limestone on a countertop. You might in exotic homes, you might. You're probably going to find limestone in the shower or on the floor. A lot of limestone out there. And if you're in a shower, my minimum for a shower is like $2,000 and up. So I'm going to be going like this all day, okay, and whatever, and have like a wetsuit on and glasses and goggles and whatever, because I don't want that limestone getting in my face. So you can get anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 doing a limestone shower. This chemical process I showed you. You also do it on the floor. This chemical process. Again, you're going to my minimum to walk into a shower is like $1,500. And if shower is more than just the stone, got to do the glass as well in the metal pieces. Today's video just showed you the stone. Okay, but if you go start doing showers, maybe down the line I get Courtney to do a shower video. We'll get in the shower together and clean a shower. All right, moving along. To find in rich people's homes. No two marbles are alike. Marble is expensive and easy to damage. Earlier in the video, you see all the little etch marks and whatever. The best thing about those etch marks, as soon as you polish them out, the marble is ready to be etched again. Penetrating sealers do not block etching. Etching is a chemical reaction. Penetrating sealers stop water penetration. But if I have Coca-Cola, it's acidic, it will still ruin the marble. How do I know? Our teeth are made out of calcium. The marble is made out of calcium. Whatever's bad for your teeth is bad for the stone. There's the old trope how children are told that candy will rot your teeth. That's true. Candy will also rot the marble countertop. So Coca-Cola, limeade, you can have lemon juice. It all eats and dissolves minerals. That's why if you get yourself a cleaner that's corrosive, like ammonia, Windex, Fantastic, 409, it eats the minerals. That's money. You go to a house with a marble countertop, with the housekeeper or the homeowner been using Windex on the countertop, that's money, because you have to now polish out the damage from the corrosive cleaner where the minerals have been dissolved. And because marble is usually, I'm finding it in the wealthier homes, my minimum, instead of 500, I kind of raise it to 900. I'm in a higher range, because usually I'm in a higher house. Your neighborhood may be different. Also, marble takes more steps to make it look better. We showed earlier in the video how you got multiple steps with multiple diamonds. Okay? The more steps you do, the better it's going to look. The less steps you do, it's not going to look as good. So maybe you want to put a quick shine on something versus a high-end multi-step shine, or just do a 3-step. You have to decide how much your life is worth. Usually, if I'm going to spend a whole day in somebody's house, my minimum for a whole day in somebody's house, I try to make $2,500 for me. Okay? And because usually by myself or I have a helper to mask off, you decide how you want to price that. But I try to make between $1,500 to $2,500 a day. You do it 3 days a week, you get 2 days off to play video games. Or you want to do that every week, every day. You do all these jobs, it's great. All you need is about 200 loyal stone customers to make it well over 100 grand a year. Okay? They're going to be your pickiest people. They're going to be your most demanding people, but they pay. So not everyone will have the personality to do stone. Some of you all listening that are carpet cleaners, that may be the best you could do. That's okay. I'm not judging. But if you aspire to do higher end work and not bend over all the time, I didn't bend over once. So just to pick up my stuff, I bent over. You can do all this work waist high and make well over 100 grand a year. Courtney's doing this part-time. He said he made 40 grand in extra money in addition to his wood and his carpet, his upholstery. So he's making 40 grand as a part-time gig. How many of y'all making 40 grand as a regular gig? See, that's the difference, right? Between stone and carpet. You can make a lot of money in a short period of time with stone. If you have any questions, I'm Robert Falzone. I'm at robertfalzone.com. I teach IICRC classes that are 14 hours, that are 2 days long. You can find me online. Courtney Lee does drive-alongs or ride-alongs, okay, as well for what he teaches. So, or if you want to buy slabs for yourself and practice for yourself. If you have local distributors that don't carry the products that we showed you, what do they sell? They have crystallizers, they have diamond pads, they have pastes and powders. Figure out what they have and then match it up to what we showed you. So that's it for now. I keep talking, but you probably rewind the video, watch it again, and rewind the different sections for marble, for limestone, for granite, for quartz. And then Robert Falzone at robertfalzone.com is my email. I don't charge people calling me. You want to call me, I don't charge by the minute. I'm sure Courtney Lee has is Cleaners Connect. Cleaners Connect, you can post questions in there, and people will answer there as well. Thank you very much for taking this video in, and if you have any questions, just give us a call.
Awesome, that's it.